Hi, this is Yana. My podcast will be about anxiety, and I will be interviewing my friend who I will be keeping anonymous. So, my first question will be, since when do you suffer from anxiety?
I think I've suffered from anxiety all my life. I just never knew what it really was. But ever since I started my freshman year in high school, I got diagnosed with it and I knew why I had all these mixed feelings since I was younger.
Okay. What is it like for you? I mean, what do you feel? What are you thinking?
For me, it's like I feel trapped. I overthink everything. I get sad. I want to cry for everything. I think of like every way things can go wrong. It's like a very negative effect on me. And then I just feel like my leg will start shaking, my hands will start sweating. I'll start biting my nails or like playing with like whatever I can find. And I don't know, I just think like everything very negative. Like I think everybody around me is judging me, or everybody has something bad to say about me even though I don't know anybody. I don't know, it's like very like mixed emotions, but not good emotions.
Yeah, I get that. I get that. Why do you think that you suffer from anxiety?
I think it's been an issue that I've dealt with since I was like very young, except my parents never really paid attention to it. I think they thought it was normal because they didn't know what anxiety was. And then like growing up in a Hispanic culture, I think it's like they always thought I was exaggerating, or like I was just like depressed rather than being anxious. Or like they would tell me like, "Oh my god, you can't stay still, you can't like you can't stay entertained with anything," and stuff like that. And I think it's just like my anxiety that never let me be myself. But then, like I said, when I started high school, that's when I started getting treated for it, and they knew that it wasn't just me making myself making myself feel that way.
Okay. What helps you get grounded or just like deal with your anxiety? What helps you feel better?
I think crying things out, which sounds like really bad, but like crying or like being alone and thinking about how much I'm overthinking something that isn't really happening, like makes me feel very calm and like better with myself. Because other than that, I think if I just stay in the same scenario or like without like having any feelings towards it, I think it'll just get worse, or I like start beating myself up for it. And then like just kind of taking deep breaths, especially if I'm like in a public place or like with people, I won't just start crying, but like it's like different techniques, or like counting, which like when I went to therapy, they told me counting would help, and it does. I didn't think it would, but it's at least something I can do when I'm in public.
Yeah. Since you became a college student, has your anxiety gotten better or has it become like worse?
I think college has definitely made it worse. Like I said, in high school was when I was diagnosed, so I was like going to therapy and stuff like that. And now that I'm in college in a new city with new people, I stopped going to therapy. And then change is something that I've always feared. So my anxiety has definitely like kicked in. And right now I don't really know how to manage it because, like I said, when I'm alone, like I can cry things out and stuff like that. Or like before with my parents, trying to talk to them. But now I live alone. I live like 4 hours away from home, so I have to deal with it on my own. And then at school, like I don't know anybody. And even if I do, I don't trust people yet because I'm so new to this. So I think things have definitely gotten worse since I started college.
All right. Do you think this generation has more anxiety than past generations? Explain your reasoning if you do.
I definitely think so. I think this generation is like the number one for anxiety because of all this social media stuff. Everybody's so focused on social media. Everybody feels judged. Everybody puts their life on there, and like they think likes, follows, and all of that is like everything, rather than focusing on mental health. And I think mental health, like awareness, is barely started being a thing, but before it was like everybody was just kind of like depressed, anxious and stuff, and nobody ever helped. So I think social media has like a big role in our generation and us being so anxious.
Okay. What tips would you give someone who just started suffering from anxiety?
I think definitely like get it treated. Like you need to do therapy before it starts getting worse. Even though like I don't know, you think it won't help. I think definitely talking to somebody, especially somebody that you don't know, that you know it won't get out of like that conversation. But if you let it get worse with time, you'll just kind of learn to live with it. Like for yourself, you'll say like, oh, like I can live with it, but in reality you're just beating yourself up for it, making yourself feel worse and making yourself more anxious, sad and stuff like that. So I think definitely get it treated and do as much as you can from your part to overcome it, because it really doesn't get better on its own unless you're really trying on your own.
Going back to your other answer, you were saying that anxiety doesn't get enough awareness. Can you contribute to that?
I think it's like everybody's kind of on the same page, especially in our generation. So everybody's just like, oh my God, like you're always sad, you're always worried, you're always overthinking. But it's never like, oh my God, me too, I overthink. Like we should raise awareness for like every college student that feels like this, or like every teenager. Instead, everybody just rather stay on the same like page, on that same feeling, rather than doing something to better it, I think. So I think it definitely doesn't get as much awareness.
Okay. My next question would be, do you think that someday your anxiety will get better? Will it change, or you think it's going to stay the same, or even just get worse?
I think with time, I can overcome it. Like I said, if I start going to therapy and doing more things for myself, and then like having more self-confidence would be like a big role. Because right now, being so anxious, you have like no confidence at all. You just overthink and stuff like that. So I think definitely it's something I can overcome, but I know it's going to be very hard, especially right now that I'm in college, all this transition and stuff like that. But I definitely have faith in like being able to overcome it, and then just think back at it, and then being able to help others, to give them tips and all of that stuff. I don't know, let's eat or something like that. It's like them knowing I'm in a hard position, so they do anything possible for me to stop feeling that way. So definitely my parents, and then definitely being with my friends, like my close friends who I can tell things to, or like my friends who, oh, like if you're feeling down, we can go like do this, even if it's just to eat, or like, I don't know, to walk or whatever. I think that's like the best thing. But other than that, it's just like my parents and my friends. I don't think there's anybody else who I would really open up to enough to tell them how I feel.
You said you went to therapy. Did therapy really help you?
Yeah, I think therapy was definitely a big, like, pick me up. Because I would have somebody, like I said, somebody to talk to that I didn't know. And I knew that things weren't going to get out of there. So my therapist giving me advice and telling me that I'm not the only person who feels like this, that I'm not the only person going through it, was, like, great. So I definitely do want to go back. I think it was a very big like pick me up in my life, and I really hope I can go back to that.
Did you take any medicine for it? Anything?
I did, but it didn't help. Like, I think therapy was the only thing that helped me, but medication was just kind of like I was on drugs for no reason. Like, I don't know, I don't think medication was the way to go for me at all.
Did medication make you feel like different? How did it make you feel?
The medication honestly would make me feel really sick. Like, I was always very nauseous and very tired, and then very like irritated all the time. And then once I got off of it, I was better. But I was also on medication to sleep because of anxiety, and the sleeping medication was great. That was like great, because I wasn't even able to sleep because of how much anxiety I would have, and like how much I would overthink.
Okay, thank you so much for your time. That was very brave of you to share that with me. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Yeah, it's great to be able to help others and speak about my experience.